We now have the lowest inflation rate of any advanced economy in the world. I acknowledge there's a disconnect between the numbers and how people feel about their place in the world right now. We can deal with the second part as well. We still have work to do, but our model for growing is delivering real results for all Americans. Significant black unemployment, Latino unemployment, et cetera.
Bottom line, not all Americans are buying what the president is saying, and a record number of them are saying we're going in the wrong direction, and that includes virtually all key Democratic constituencies. Greg Ip is here, the chief economics commentator of the Wall Street Journal, crackerjack writer and good thinker. So, Greg, I'm trying to think this through. The president is right to point out job gains and some of the improvement we've seen. Inflation isn't as high as it was, still high. But obviously, it's not piercing the public veneer. Most Americans don't feel it, don't buy it. That's not good for a president seeking re-election.
No, it really isn't. I mean, we've seen this phenomenon now for a while, Neil. In fact, I was going through the records. People have been saying the country as a whole has been going in the wrong direction since 2006. People have been very grumpy for a very long time. But it definitely got worse under Donald Trump, got worse under President Biden. You know, and Biden is right. The data, if you look at it, is pretty good. Like the unemployment rate, it's still below 4%. We've made back all of the jobs that we lost during the panic and then some. GDP and employment are actually both above where people thought they would be if there'd never been a pandemic. Stock market just had a very good week. Even the bond market had a pretty good week. The thing that you always turn to is, well, inflation is high. Yeah, but it's not as high as it was. It's 3.2% now, we just learned.
Right.
That's versus, say, 9% a year ago. And then people say, well, people aren't looking at the rate of change of prices. They're upset that prices are still so high. Like on average, stuff is like 20%, 15 to 20% higher than it was 2 or 3 years ago. I get that. But still, Neil, when I run the numbers and I look at, say, the University of Michigan Sentiment Index and I compare it to the misery index, you know, the unemployment rate plus the inflation rate, you still can't explain why people feel as crummy as they do, even once you take into account the inflation and the unemployment rate. There's something else going on.
I'm having difficulty trying to figure what that is, because it's sort of like when people sort of blast Congress what they like their own congressman. When it comes to the economy, they blast the economy or where the country is going, but they're buying like crazy on these trips and packing planes. What, 30 million of us are going to be cramming the airports this Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that going on. Is that disconnect real enough to say Americans might say they're miserable, but they're really not that miserable? That's what it seems the White House is trying to cling to, and that the more time it has, they have a year before the election, the more that will be evident.
I think that's exactly right. I mean, there's an old saying in economics, right, which is don't listen to what consumers say, watch what they do. And obviously there's a big disconnect between them saying they're feeling bad about the economy and the fact that they've been spending really strong. You know, we had that terrific third quarter GDP growth number, which is really all about the consumer. Now, I will say a few things. First of all, sentiment, by the number of we can look at, it has come off its lows. So there has been some sign of improvement. Another point that I picked up in my research, Neil, is that not all inflation is created equal. There are 3 types of inflation that people find especially unsettling: gasoline, food, and houses. And gasoline and food kind of makes sense because they're a big part of your budget and you buy them like every week. So you're constantly being reminded that gas is expensive, that like milk costs way more, cereal costs way more, right? But even there, we're seeing progress. So gas is down about 1/3 from where it was in the middle of last year. Food, it really hasn't gone up in the last year. The thing that I think is really going to prey on a lot of people's minds, especially that demographics are looking to buy their first house, is like buying a house is more and more out of reach. And for that segment of the population, I think that is really, really got to be soul crushing.
You know, I know you're one of the best economics reporters in the country, but I'm wondering if it's not business, it's personal, if I'll flip that phrase, because a lot of people are worried or don't like the president or think he's too old. They're not enamored personally, Donald Trump. But I'm wondering if what's being reflected here is just a concern about the president's age, the pile-on that he misses a couple of things. Maybe we overstate the age thing. The older I get, Greg, the less I really like to buy that type of criticism. But that is what's at play here. What do you think?
I think there's an element of that, Neil. Now, you would think that people would be able to compartmentalize these things so that when you ask them about the economy, they would reevaluate the economy differently than when you ask them about the president. So in theory, you could have people feel good about the economy but bad about the president.
Right.
What I think is interesting is that there are bad feelings about the president. And let's actually pull the camera back. I don't think it's just the president. Because when I wrote a few of these columns, the Republicans all said they feel crummy because Biden's president. The Democrats told me they feel crummy because Trump could be president again, right? So it's bipartisan misery. And the independents are upset that either of them could or is president.
Right.
So there's basically bipartisan or non-president partisan agreement that our political system is kind of messed up. I mean, you just watch the news. It's like war in the Middle East. It's war in Ukraine. It's the border. It's crime. It's mass shootings. It's fentanyl. It's this. It's that. It's
scary stuff.
It's it's just this unrelenting avalanche of bad news. And what I described it as referred pain. You know how you can get one pain in part of your body even though it was a different part of your body that was injured? And I think what's happening is that the bad feelings people get from all this other stuff, it just means manifested
I'm
in the
jumping
feeling
on you,
about the
my
economy.
friend. Great comments, all. Greg, thank you.